I operate our apiaries and our bees at the north coast, New South Wales. Been in the industry ever since I was a kid because I'm a second generation beekeeper, but commercially with my brother and I, we've been operating bees for the last 10 years. We run between 600 and 700 hives. Our operation is all honey now. We used to do a little bit of pollination, but we've gotten out of that and we rely solely on honey. So in our business, there's just my brother and I, and sometimes our old man will come out and help us when needed or to give advice. So we started our honey year or our honey season just like every other year. We started out in the canola, went to the macadamias on the north coast, and then to the coast. We did our when we were out in the canola, we did our first washes for the honey season and found no mites. In October was our next lot of washes on the coast, and we found no mites at that stage either. So after our washes in October, we had a massive honey flow season. It's been brilliant in the area, and we didn't do any more washes until after Christmas. So we came back after a break, a few weeks off, just after Christmas, and we went through our bees, and it was disastrous, really. We found that after we'd been through everything, we'd lost half of our operation. Our total count at that time was up to 350 hives, and it's actually growing. We're still losing hives now. It was just a devastating time to see what had happened. We found all those hives that were dead were in or from the one area. So we actually suspected foul play at first. We took a couple of good beekeepers up there to check, and we did a wash on a couple of remaining hives and found the mite load was very, very high, like well over 100 mites in an alcohol wash. So we quickly realised that it wasn't due to foul play or small hive beetle or anything else. It was due to our own muck-ups. But what we did do before Christmas, before going away, we as we always do, we always go away in Christmas time. It's an important thing that we do with our families. We went around and we checked every single hive. And because we weren't sure whether the honey was going to continue flowing in, we made sure that they had supers on them to give them space if needed. And every hive had bees in it, so every hive was strong and healthy. And in our thoughts, if there was a honey flow, we were ready to get it. When we went away at Christmas time, we didn't suspect there would be any mite in our hives, as they were too healthy. Even when quizzing my old man or others at the time, when the hives were as good as they were, in my mind I didn't think there was any way there could be mite in those bees because they were so healthy. But we found otherwise when we came back and did a wash on them, how quickly the mite had overtaken our hives. Our biggest regret with our hives is we didn't check earlier. We wish we had have checked before Christmas. That way we could have been on top of it. We lost a lot of hives due to our own stuff-ups, really, and regret that we didn't do our checks earlier. Now we're doing our checks within a month and regularly to make sure our hives are mite-free or low mite counts. So our initial count with our hives was around the 350 mark, but because of anything that was left in those areas that did have bees in them and a laying queen, the mite had demoralised the hive so bad, the brood was in a really bad shape, and even though we put miticides in the hives, we were still losing hives. We were still pulling hives out well after it. We've lost now well over half of our hives, and if we had have found mite sooner, I'm 100% certain that the outcomes would have been a lot different. We've never lost this many hives to any pest or any other problem in the past, so it's only due to Varroa mite that we've lost these hives. We've lost hives to hive beetle before, and maximum 30 to 40 out of our 600 to 700 have we ever lost on a really bad season, and that was hard enough to take. But with the demoralisation of our hives from the Varroa mite, allowed the small hive beetle to walk in and just take over the hives and slime our hives out. When we came back after Christmas, we went up to the hills to get our bees prepared to move them home to the coast so we could requeen them and do our usual autumn things. And I was horrified to find that the majority of the hives in our first 60 were dead, completely dead. And after going through them all, there was only 8 left alive. And after another month, there was only 4 left alive. And now, due to requeening and Varroa, we've managed to save 3 of those 4 for the moment. The other 60 that were up on the hills, we didn't lose as many out of that apiary. We lost around about the 40, but subsequently the other 20 have nearly all perished due to the Varroa mite. We went back to the coast where these bees had originally came from, and went through those bees, and there was no hives left out of 120 hives in an apiary there. Well, we thought there might have been a few, but by the time we'd moved them and had a look through them, there was nothing left, like nil, no hives. Moving forward, we check every hive regularly, at least once a month, sometimes more, if we suspect there might be a problem or a problematic area. We have split all our hives so that we can be set up for next year ready, and we are closely monitoring our hives for Varroa mite and treating them accordingly. If we find that we're above threshold, we have some approved chemical strips ready to be used. So really going forward from here, we make sure we check our hives regularly, because we don't want to have the same outcomes we had in the past. We want to learn from our mistakes and not repeat it. You know, this is a family business. So there's two brothers in a partnership supplying 2 families' needs. Like, these properties don't run without money. So we value our operation. We don't run a lot of hives per person, per family. So like half of our loss, like half of our operation gone in a short amount of time is a massive impact on our business, and quite concerning, because our houses, our families, you know, our kids rely on the money that comes out of this bee business for their own welfare. So the thing I'd like people to know is, like, we run a small operation, normally a very tidy operation, and for this to impact us was a big hit. It was hard on our hearts, it was hard on our mindset. The only thing that helped us was our mates, and the fact that we had to work so hard to clean the mess up. Cleaning the mess up when you're burning frames and burning your gear and watching everything you've worked for go up in flames is a good way of fixing your mindset, because it takes your mind off the mess. That's probably what I want people to understand. We don't run a big operation. We can't afford to lose 350 hives. To some operations, 350 hives is nothing. That comes and goes every year. But for us, 350 hives minimum is a massive loss. And subsequently, we have not been able to chase our autumn-winter flows, because we've had to divide every hive in half. So it's weakened our hives at a risk of demoralising them even more, unsure of, or uncertain because of the rain events we've had, that we're even going to be able to keep any of our hives. But we took the risk so that next honey season, we're going to have enough hives to continue to support our family's needs. So I'm sort of, in some ways, I'm glad it happened to us and not someone else that can't afford it, because if we were in a different position, we'd be gone, we'd be out of the industry. There's no way we would be still here. I probably wanted to say how grateful I was to the beekeeping community, to a couple of mates that have helped, and the wisdom from my old man, and the knowledge from a couple of beekeeper mates that have been especially one's been in the industry for a lot of years. I value their opinions, and especially in this time when it's sort of uncharted territory, so to speak. Not even my dad can help me in that. He was used to dealing with AFB and small hive beetle and the other pests, but this is a new thing for all of us. I don't normally like talking in public places, and I certainly do not like airing our dirty laundry before people. The only reason I've offered to do this interview is to hopefully help other beekeepers in this industry. We were fooled into thinking that there would be a honeymoon period with Varroa mite, and that it wasn't as bad as people were saying. We were completely wrong, and I'm hoping that through this interview, maybe there'll be one or two other beekeepers in this country that may be able to learn from our mistakes and hopefully save your operation.